You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Welcome back to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today and we have a special guest today. We don't just have an entrepreneur. We have a fellow Marine, Jay Setchell. He is going to share not just his amazing story, but he's going to share something that's going to really get you to focus, man. This guy's been through some really tough things, situations. He's had dozens of surgeries. He had multiple setbacks in his life, but he is still here today to be the voice of reason. So first and foremost, Jay, I want to say thank you for clearing your calendar, because I know you got a lot going on in your world doing these interviews on multiple platforms. Thank you for taking some time with us today. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you very much for the comments. I'm just glad to be here. You're pretty close to me, so I'm glad to do it. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you being here. When you think about what you had to go through, once again, as a Marine, I want to say thank you for your service. When you think about the discipline and all the things that you learned during your time, what's some of the things that kind of stick out, that kind of still stays with you today?
I think you're right with the word discipline, consistency, never giving up. That's one thing at least for me, and back in my time in the Marine Corps when I went in the late '60s, and today it still sticks pretty strong. My son's a Marine. Was a Marine. He's still a Marine, but he's out now. We don't know what the word quit means. We don't know what the word stop. We're going to go ahead and, semper fidelis, always faithful, but the common saying is always semper fi, do or die. So either you're going to accomplish it or you're going to die trying. And if you keep that mindset that you're just never going to quit, I mean, it's always too soon to quit. And I believe that's probably, but I was raised that way. And the Marine Corps just pounded it into my head stronger. But, and then going throughout life, keeping that mindset, it always proves it true.
When you think about perseverance, you talk about this on other shows in a very practical way, not just motivational fluff, but very strategic, systematic approach. When did you realize that never quit had to become part of your system rather than just a type of feeling that you have?
I don't know, Shemai, if I can give a specific date or year or time of my life, but it was probably when I was younger, because I realized, I came off a large working farm with lots of cattle and crops and such like that. And, if you quit feeding your cattle, they die. Or if you don't go out and tend to the crops and get on the tractor and take care of stuff, it just wouldn't turn out good. So, you can't quit doing that. It doesn't matter if the snow's 4 feet deep, it's 35 below zero, and the wind's blowing, you still have to do it. It doesn't matter. But I think throughout life, just watching, through my death experiences and coming back in the hospital times, it's more of it's something that becomes ingrained in you, that you're just not going to quit. I don't care. And I don't know, like I said, that I can give a specific date, but I think what really pounded it into my head was after I broke my neck, because all that time coming back, when they told me I would never walk or probably never move anything from my shoulders down, I said, I just didn't accept that. I didn't accept that, and through the grace of God, I proved him wrong.
When you think about those challenging times, I mean, in the moment, you give us in your own words, what were you able to do to keep yourself motivated just to get through those hard moments, not understanding what exactly could happen at the end, but in your words, faith? How did you stay motivated to keep going through?
I would say that my motivation comes there again, through the way I was raised, what the Marine Corps pounded into my head, the success I've had in life, helping other people, reaching out, seeing successes because you don't quit, because you keep moving forward. It's kind of like the turtle and the tortoise and the hare story. The turtle won the race, but it was the slowest one out there. The rabbit went like heck, but then he got tired, he laid down, fell asleep, and the tortoise was kind of went on by. So I think that it's just something that has become part of me, because I'm 76 years old. So I've been dealing with this I died my first time really when I was in the Marine Corps, and that was 56 years ago, last November 12th. So, and when I was 17, I should have been ground up like hamburger in a feeding auger accident on the farm. And all it did was break my ankle and cut my leg open. But, that's not a real big deal. I mean, not in reality, And I think I look at a little saying. I've said it for years and years, and that it just goes like this: sweat dries, blood clots, and broken bones heal. Suck it up. And we're raising a society of kids today, it seems like to me, that are soft. Young people that are soft. They're too soft. They're not willing to pay the price. They want that instant gratification, if that makes sense. I call it the microwave society because it's fast, it's quick. But people that, and I understand it, but people that have to cool their car down and have the seats with the cooling coming out of them, and they can't have a car that doesn't have cooled seats. It's like, oh my God. What did they do for ever? What do they do for the people that can't afford it? Do they roll over and die? No, they just get in it and they go. Or warm the seats up, so it's like, push forward. Just don't stop. That's a mindset. You have to have it in yourself, have it in your heart, have it in your head. And I think sometimes it's something that maybe God gives it to certain people, but you got to believe it. And, there's a difference between hope and between faith and believing, because you can hope something happens, but when you really believe it and you have the faith that it's going to happen, it gives you a different concept. It gives you you're not just kind of, I hope I hit the target. I know I'm going to hit the target. And that helps you do it, because you got a focus on it.
Once again, listen on Refocused Radio, and you're watching us online. We're talking to our special guest today, Jay Setchell. Go to his website. He has a website. If you want to go to it, it's neverquittrying.com. Again, that's neverquittrying.com. My next question for you is, you have some sayings. You share one with us, but you have another one right in your bio, and that was, if it is to be, it is up to me. Explain that to our listeners, our viewers, and how did you see that as a way to have a personal balance of responsibility without beating yourself up?
I want to make a comment on the website. They're trying to get it loaded right now. I mean, it's done, but they're trying to get it loaded. But if it is to be, it is up to me. I think if we all look at that, it's something. In many years ago, for example, it's like I had a son that was 15 at the time. He's 50 now, and he was launching 8-foot-long neon light bulbs down an alleyway with a couple of his buddies one night that they took out of the ceiling in a grocery store, and the cops caught him. And I said, what in the heck are you doing? You're wanting to go take your driver's test here pretty soon and get your license. And I can't drive the car for you. I can't take the test for you. I can't take your vision test for you. That's up to you. So if it is to be, it is up to me. But I also realized that I think a lot in the Marine Corps, because, it's kind of like a lot of people can be motivated. They can be, you can go to somebody back when I was younger, you go to Zig Ziglar or you talk, I listened to him a lot back in the day, or Tony Robbins, whoever. But they can motivate you for a day, a week, an hour, a month, maybe. But unless you've got the guts to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, as we used to say, and I think it's still out there, don't waste your money. Because if you're not going to be able to do it yourself and continue it, that gets back to discipline and consistency. If you're going to work your arm out on a stretch band or lifting weights, sitting even at your desk, behind the microphone, okay, in between every podcast, I'm going to lift this 30-pound weight 20 times. Okay, it's only going to take you a minute and a half, maybe, but that's a discipline issue, is how I see it. So if it is to be, it's up to me, because you can't do my job and I can't do your job. I would be a really bad person to have in a barber shop, trust me. But at the same time, I soloed and started flying by myself when I was 14 with an old tail dragger on a sod strip. But how many people do that? Not many. So it's back to your own self. You have to be responsible and you got to be responsible. You have to be disciplined. And if you are, that's where it comes from. It's just, if it is to be, it is up to me. And I've been saying that, along with it's always too soon to quit trying, for, 55 years and longer.
Reminds me of someone who came to the barbershop, Air Force guy. He said, there's a saying that people, it doesn't matter about the day you're born, the day you die. What matters is the dash. What did you do when you were here? And so my next question for you is, if someone's listening to this right now on radio or watching us online, and they feel like they're just tired themselves, maybe they're just like, man, you know what? He's right. It's time to get it together, right? But maybe they just keep going in that vicious cycle of thinking like that. What would you say to them right now, or tell them to start breaking that cycle?
To me, a lot of times, if you're able to, and that's a choice, is I pray about it. I really pray for the strength. I pray that, God's not going to give me anything I can't handle. And everybody, if they realize that they will make it through. It may be discomfort or uncomfortable, whichever way you want to say it, but it's temporary. It's kind of like my legs get real cold when I have shorts on and it's below 50 degrees. They just, because of my nerve damage. But if I open the door to let the dogs out, or I go outside in my wheelchair, my legs freeze really bad, but I know it's only temporary. And in a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'll be back in where it's warmer. But I'm just using that as an example, but everything's temporary. So I think that if you look at prayer, if you look at reading, if you listen to podcasts, if you pick up some stories of people that have really done it, if you surround yourself with people that are on the same mission that you're on, or if you want to do better, hang out with people that are doing better. Yeah. Don't hang out with the people that are doing worse, because you're not going to get better by that. And it's a mindset. It really, it's a thing that I think you just need to dig deep. But that's really it. Just change the focus of what you're looking at, and go, you know what? What's he doing? How the heck is he doing that? Go talk to the guy. Go ask him. If you're a bricklayer and you can't get a brick straight for anything, go talk to the guy that's doing a really good job. You're not going to steal his job, but watch him if nothing else. But it's a lot of that, I think, is very, it just gets back to, and I know it's hard to do. It's hard to do because having been dead the number of times I've been, or being 5 years ago, I had COVID Delta, and I was in 4 hospitals for 5 months. And when they put me in, I didn't think I was bad, but I was so bad, they told my wife to go home and make funeral arrangements. I was in on a Monday, and they didn't expect me to be alive by Thursday or Friday. And I would not accept no. I won't accept that. I just won't accept it. So a lot of times it just takes a strong constitution within your heart. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard. I know some people have had a very tough life, but they can come out of it most all the time if they look for it and believe in it. But you got to believe in it, and you have to have the faith that you can do it. You just can't, I hope I can do better tomorrow. Because if you have the faith in it and the belief, you will search and find a way to do it. Search that out. Find out what it is.
When you think about leadership, not just as a Marine, but also wearing the entrepreneur hat, understanding what it's like even outside of the military, what are some of the struggles that come with leadership that you believe helps shapes a person's not just mission but character?
Help somebody with leadership through being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, to wear an entrepreneur's hat, it takes a different person. It takes somebody with a lot of strength. You have to be resilient. You have to enjoy pain. That pain may be the length of hours, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. Be the first one there and the last one to leave. Don't expect anybody to do something that you wouldn't do. If you wouldn't clean the toilets, don't ask somebody else to do it. I've done that, and I've owned several companies. Several have gone into the 7 figures and 8 figures. But I still don't mind. It's not a big deal. Just do it. But that leadership is, you have to, you lead by example. Mm-hmm. No matter what I've done. And when I was in my corporate life, and I got retired when I was 41 years old. That's 35 years ago. And on a long-term disability issue, because I had so many surgeries and my paralysis was getting worse. So what they did, I was becoming a risk, and they didn't need me to fall down and die, or fall down in somebody's place and have a lawsuit. So they put me out the pasture, so to speak. But that leadership, I'm a high school graduate. That's all I am. I'm a high school graduate. And I didn't do that well in high school because I was all thinking about what else I can do with my life. And to me, you got to think about what we learned in high school 60 years ago. A lot of it doesn't apply anymore. Countries have changed and the whole world has changed. But I think that the leadership issue is just, what would you expect out of a leader? Somebody that'll step up. If something goes wrong, it's my fault. Yeah. If something goes right, it's you get the credit for it, because you're the ones that did it. And I think that there again, it's like when I won my last this Distinguished Management Award thing with the company I was with years ago. I accepted it on behalf of all the people that were under me. It's just like somebody that accepts, the young man that just got the Heisman. He accepted it on behalf of his team, because that's who helped propel him. If the team wasn't there, he would have not gotten it. So your leadership, there again, I get back to the thing is, don't expect somebody to do something that you wouldn't do. And if you do it and they see you do it, and there again, I would make the point that I had to me, it was an easy time to be a leader. I don't know why. I had that instilled in me when I was younger, at least I believe so. And the Marine Corps certainly brings that out in you. And as a sergeant in the Marine Corps, which is all I made it before I died, and spent a year in the Naval Hospital. If you're the one that's willing to go out and pay the price and do it, then people look up to that. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, look what he's done, And if I'm able to handle the very immense amounts of money that I did corporately and bring them up and make them worth more, increase the value.
Yeah.
And here I'm mostly paralyzed and I'm on a walker and I'm dragging my leg and I got a hand that doesn't work and an arm that barely works, It's like, and the other side of me's all cut up and it doesn't work. But if I can do it, what's your problem when you have nothing wrong with you and you've got 2 or 3 college degrees? What's your excuse?
Nah.
Don't have one. You don't have one. So I think that look within yourself. What strengths do you have? It may be your DNA, it may be the way you were raised, it may be anger, it may be frustration, it may be pain. When I hurt a lot, I'm in a lot of pain. But I've also said the quote, it's in my book, it says, when pain pushes on me, I push back. Mm-hmm. I don't care. It's just the way it is. Get angry about it. But when you get angry about it, something happens. And nothing great has ever been accomplished until somebody either gets mad as hell or is on fire with a cause. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like, today I'm going to do something about it. Today I'm going to do it. And you know what? All of a sudden, you look back and think, why didn't I do that 15 years ago? It's like, so...
Yeah, I love that. I love what you're saying. And once again, listen on Refocused Radio, talking to our guest today, Jay, fellow Marine. And you mentioned your book. If you can, for our audience, I know we have about 3 minutes left. Can you give us the title of that book and where they can get a copy?
Well, the name of the book is The Strength Within You, and It's Always Too Soon to Quit. They can, Amazon's just as good a place as any to get it. I've got an Audible coming out pretty soon, but they got that paperback and hardback and so on. But it's the book does talk about my medical issues a little bit, but it's more what I'm really trying to get across in the book, and it's not a very big book. It's like a 4-hour read. How do you find that strength as I was going through my deaths and going through all the debridding my 3rd-degree burns by myself, or giving myself my shots, or fighting through a broken neck and paralysis and fighting it and never quitting and always going above and beyond what's expected, but where do you find that strength in you to help you overcome the adversities and the failures or the detours you're going to have later in life or throughout your life? And I might say that it also helped with successes sometimes, because sometimes there's successes that are hard to do. It gets back to being a leader. Be there first. Be there. Don't be afraid to pay the price.
Yeah.
And that price is something, whatever it takes to be the leader.
Well, once again, if you got a boost of motivation, you're hitting the airways with some great motivation right now. You motivated me right now as a host. So for our listeners, our viewers, I want you to definitely go get a copy of the book that he shared with us earlier, The Strength Within You. Again, that's The Strength Within You. It's Always Too Soon to Quit. Make sure you get a copy of that on Amazon. And first and foremost, last but not least, to you, Jay, I want to say thank you for blessing the airwaves today with your story and what you had to say, because it's truly powerful what you said for us. And I hope people take it to heart, because you have some really good words of wisdom right there.
Well, I appreciate it very much, Shemaiah. And I would like to say one last thing that people can take with them, and this to me is very motivational. To me, it's not motivational; it's more inspiring, because you think about it in the bigger term, and that is what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are very small matters compared to what lies within us.
Yeah.
So it's within you to take what you've been through to move through for your future.
Boom.
Thank
there
you.
Go. You had a nice mic drop right there. I want to say, once again, let's not Refocused Radio, watching us online, talking to our guest today. Jay, make sure you get a copy of his book. I'm telling you, it's going to be our show notes. You have no excuses. I'm going to make sure you have the direct link to make sure you don't miss it. So once again, Jay, like I always want to say to you, thank you for your time, man.
Hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.